Hello and welcome to Heybridge Math Department video overview for NP4, where you'll be looking at powers, roots and primes. We'll be looking at big numbers, numbers that you've not seen before, and the atoms of numbers. Now, if you're completing work at home whilst you are unable to attend school, what I would like you to do is, first of all, have the overview sheet for this particular module in front of you. I want you to watch the videos that are listed on the overview sheet, whether that's the ones on Hegarty Maths or on Oak National or on Corbett Maths. I want you to complete all of the activities that are listed down there. Don't skip any out, but complete all of them that are listed on the overview sheet. As you're doing this, tick off each task so that you know that you've completed them all and that you haven't left anything out, which is important for number 5 about not leaving anything out, because at some point your teacher might decide to check up and see that you've completed all the work. So this area of maths that we're looking at in this unit is really dependent on the unit that you've just completed on multiplication and division, because powers are effectively just repeated multiplication. In the same way that multiplication is just repeated addition, powers are just repeated multiplication. The first thing that we would like you to complete is we would like you to know off by heart all of the square numbers from 1 to 15. So know that, say, 15 squared is 225 or 13 squared is 169. We want you to know all of them from 1 to 15. And once you've learnt them, how about having a go at all the cube numbers from 1 to 10? So knowing that, say, 4 cubed is 64, or knowing that 10 cubed is 1000, we'd like you to know all of them from 1 to 10. And a good way to do that is to watch the videos, of course, and then to complete the Hegarty tasks, and even watch the Oaks lessons and complete that as well. So do all those activities. But another thing you can do is test yourself. Actually cover up the numbers, see if you can remember them, see if you can write them down, see whether you got them right or wrong, and then have another go and keep going till you've memorized all of them. Now, it's all very well and good being able to know your squares and cubes up to a certain number, but we also need you to be able to calculate your squares and cube numbers. So that's what Objective 2 is about. It's about going through and seeing how to work out square numbers, how to work out cube numbers, and completing the work associated with that. Next, we want you to look at powers of numbers and how we write numbers in index form. So how you take a number when you're doing repeated multiplication and you write that number in a much simpler way to show that how many times that you're multiplying the number together. And that's what Objective 3 is all about, so you need to complete the work for this. Okay, so now you know about indices, it's time to learn the rules of using indices, how those powers work when we times two numbers of the same base together and we divide two numbers of the same base together. That's what Objective 4 is about. With Objective 5, you are going to learn about what happens when you do square numbers in reverse. What are the inverses of square numbers? Well, these are roots, but you'll find more about them when you complete the work listed in Objective 5. Now, objective 6 isn't about Sisyphus, it's about surds, and it's about a way of elegantly representing numbers so that you don't have long decimal expansions, but the number is there exactly on the page as it is. And to do that, we have surds, and you are going to find out how a surd, what it's approximately equal to. Now, for the last three objectives, you are in for a treat because we are going to be looking at prime numbers. Prime numbers are mathematicians' favourite numbers, I would say. I think most mathematicians you'll find out there, the thing they love more than any other number is prime numbers. These numbers are the atoms from which all other numbers are made. And for centuries, mathematicians have been absolutely fascinated by them. And in these three objectives that you're going to do now, when you complete all the work, you're going to begin to learn about some of the properties of prime numbers and it how it all comes together. It's a start of a journey. There's so many different places that you can go with prime numbers, so many fascinating areas, so much that you can learn about with them. And we used to think that they weren't any use, but now we know they're very useful and they power the whole internet. So not only have you got something absolutely really interesting, but something immediately practical as well. So for your last three objectives, let's learn about prime numbers.